Guys, that was how me and my friend entered one chance cow. It wasn't funny at all. Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's that girl, your favorite TV presenter, producer, actor, content creator, and also an entrepreneur. And I make videos about lifestyle, entertainment, gist, gossip, fashion, health discussion, and also stories. Speaking of stories, today I decided to give you the full gist of how my best friend and I, entered one chance car. We were robbed, guys. So it happened like say 2 to 3 years ago, and it was my older sister's birthday. Sorry. It was my elder sister's birthday, and yeah, it happened 2 years ago, and she wanted us to celebrate. So we went into town and celebrated her birthday. It was April 12th, and we had so much fun. But at the end of the day, it was late. It was around 8 p.m. And then my best friend had to go back to school at Bauchi. So she had someone that was going to, pick her up, and then they would drive down to Bauchi together. So we had to leave town that night to come back home to, Cairo and the other side of Abuja. So on our way, my older sister decided to drop us at Wuse. I'm not familiar with the area much, but it was just by a bus stop, and my friend and I, jelly on our own, were standing, waiting for a cab. So this bus, a bigger car came, and I told her, like, girl, we stood for a while anyways before we actually got the ride. So when a bus came, I told her, like, girl, how about we just, let's hop on, let's go with the bus, since we're not going, it's not like we're rushing to somewhere, and we all know buses tend to stall. They're late. They always arrive at their destination late. So I was telling her, it's not like we're rushing, so it doesn't matter when we get home. So she was like, no, girl, I'm tired. I need to, head home and fix the rest of my things so that tomorrow, as early as 6, would leave for Bauchi. I'm like, okay. Not knowing that it was her name, Destiny, that was, it was, the destiny happens not to be good. It was calling us that it had to happen. So saying we were just standing, then this car came, and there were 4 in the car. All were men, and 2 in front and 2 behind. The driver, then the one riding shotgun, he's handsome. He was a handsome guy, honestly. And then there were 2 behind, the one by the door, and then the second one who was carrying dreads. And then my friend entered, then I was the one by the door. So I closed the door, and then immediately we settled in. The driver took off, but it was normal. So when he took off, that was when we perceived, the smell of weed in the car. So my best friend turned to me. I was like, So she pulled her bag, because at that time she has experienced, one chance before. And also someone stole her phone in the car before, second experience. And at that time particularly, she just bought a new phone because she lost her phone at school. That was, the previous semester while writing exams. So she bought a new phone. It was barely 1 week old. So her bag was in between her and the guy carrying the dreads. So she pulled the bag, and then I just look at her, and smile and fun, like, you don't want what happened to repeat itself. She was like, my sister. So she turned to the guy by the window and by the door and told him to just wind down, like, please wind down. The guy ignored her. So the guy with the dread said, wind down small. So he actually wound down a bit. After that, we continued driving. It happened so fast, guys. It was super fast. Like 1 minute, we were on an express route. The next minute, he just swerved very quickly and just entered into a dark, lonely road. And it was a residential area, but you know, some of the houses in Abuja now, like, there are just no occupants in the house. So the street was quiet, and these guys know their ways, honestly. The driver kept driving all through, we didn't stop, and I'm wondering, how do they figure out places like this? And all those places were lonely. So immediately they swerved. Instincts, adrenaline rush just kicked in, and I started screaming. The other guy just turned, the one with the direct turned, and then pulled a gun at my friend. And then the guy in front turned and pulled a gun at my own head. And I started screaming. For my friend, I think she knew that staying quiet would be best for her. How am I supposed to know? It never happened to me. Plus, it is my property. I should feel safe, I should be okay. Why would you come and carry something that is not yours, that is mine, that I worked for? So as it is now, I was feeling, you want to come and carry something that is not yours, I'm going to scream. So I was screaming. I was screaming on top of my voice. I tried to open the car, but apparently there was child lock. So I tried to wind down. It was locked as well. So the one at the front noticed my struggle was much. So he brought back his chair, to press my leg, because I was also struggling with my legs. So they pressed, but I kept screaming. And then since my friend was quiet, the guy with the dread pulled her head to be on his thigh. So she was quiet there. So for me, he was punching me from here. The guy, he was holding a gun, but then the guy in front was the one with the fist, the handsome one. He just started punching me, because they noticed that maybe the gun wasn't scaring me, but I was scared. I was super scared. So he was punching me. At that time, guys, my nose piercing was still new, so it was hurting. And then this guy decided to use my face as a punching bag. It wasn't funny, but it's funny now. But anyways, so he kept punching. I kept talking as the media person that I am, as the negotiator that I am. I kept on trying to negotiate with them, like, oh my god, okay, don't. So at that time, the only thing that could calm me down was my friend's hand. She just reached out to me and was tapping, I was should I say smooshing my thigh. She was just calming me down. That was the only thing that made me keep quiet at that time. And these guys thought I was being stubborn by shouting, but honestly at that time it was just the adrenaline rush. It wasn't me. I couldn't control myself. I couldn't stop myself from screaming. So my friend just was calming me down, and honestly, funny but true, that was the only thing that calmed me down. And I just went quiet, but still I was talking like, okay, fine, don't hit me again, I won't talk. And then they were saying, oh, you're still talking, you say you're very stubborn, you say you don't want to cooperate, okay, we'll deal with you. So my friend just kept calming me down. I just stopped talking, but the guy was still punching. So when I went quiet, he stopped, and then he decided saying, so you don't want to cooperate, He does, let's have your bags. So they seized both our bags, and that was the driver doing the job. The one in front picked up his gun and came back to my head. So the driver searched through our bags, and for me at that time I was carrying about 4 ATMs. My friend was carrying about 4 ATMs as well. I was carrying 3 of mine and 1 of my mom's, and my friend was carrying 4 of hers. So after the driver finished searching through the bags, he carried our phones, asked us to open the phone. So all thumbprints. So we opened the phone. He was searching for a lot of things and all, and he called out to the name, my friend's name, who is so superstitious. She said, I am. He said, so you have this pin, this account, and this account. She said yes. How much is in this account? She called out the number. How much is in this account? She called out the number. How much? She was, and some she said, I don't know. I don't know. I can't remember. I can't remember the exact amount inside. I'm sorry, I can't remember. And then he called out to me, and then he was, how much is in this account? I sold some. I was like, I don't know. And he started asking, so he picked one of my cards and one of hers and said, okay, tell me your pin. What's the pin for your first bank account? What's the pin for your GT account? What's the pin for? So when he asked for the first one, I got stubborn, and I was like, I can't remember. And then the guy in front dropped the gun and started punching me again on my face. Like, I was like, okay, I'm not sure. And he kept punching. Oh, you're not sure, right? You're not sure. I'm like, okay, I am sure. That's it. Just go and try it. Oh, you're still stubborn. Trying to act, oh, cool. We're going to deal with you. No. So before then, the driver picked a call, and the person, he mentioned Alhaji. No, Alhaji, we're working, so we'll get back to you when we're done. And when he stopped by a post, which I'm imagining because my head was down, when we stopped by a post, I noticed the place was very dark, but it happened to be an ATM post. I was thinking they were carrying POS, but apparently they weren't. So we went to an ATM post, and the place was dark, but I could hear people's murmur, like people were talking outside. And the driver was the one who collected the cards and then went out. The volume was loud, guys. Okay, the music playing was a Yoruba music. Now, for people who know me, they know that I love Yoruba music very well. So it was like, is someone playing a prank on me right now? Like, is God playing a prank on me? Yoruba music here, it was beating and it was loud. So I'm like, what am I supposed to do? Dance? Am I supposed to dance, or am I supposed to relax to it? Anyways, it was Fuji, and it was mad, and it was amazing, but then it just was playing at the wrong moment. So coming back to the story, my best friend was lying. So after the guy pulled up and he went to the ATM, he withdrew the money. We just kept hearing a lot. So for me, I got scared because one of the ATM, like I said, was my mom's. And I was really scared of, I don't know the actual amount in that bank, and I was scared that maybe it would be much and then they would have gotten a lot from it. But luckily it was the list of her accounts, the accounts she has, so the money was not as I expected it. So but for my friend, it was too much because, like I said, she was heading back to school, her school fees, her house rent, her grocery money, for for shopping, her allowance, everything was in her bank, like everything. So for me, I feel that night it was much of a bigger loss for my friend. She lost a lot of money there, and honestly it was, plus she is also a businesswoman. Okay, she's a hustler, so she sells almost everything. So she also had her business accounts, ATM with her. They just drained her, and that was what pissed me off about these people, that I felt there is no excuse at all for grown men who are able men to come and snatch people's property when girls or ladies are going out there to hustle, to grind. It's not making sense at all. Honestly, there is no excuse for that. But anyway, I don't blame them when God will catch them. Hey. So with that, the guy came back. So he would basically use 2 to 3 ATM cards, and then he would come back, and then he would drive us to another spot. That way I think his plan was not to raise suspicion at all, and it actually worked because nobody suspected anything. Whenever they see them, for me, I would feel they're just young guys that are just enjoying Friday nights, having fun, because it was on a Friday. So he drove us to another spot, dropped, and then went out. that second time, that was when the panic started, because at first I was panicking, thinking I was being kidnapped. Then I realized, okay, it was the money they were aiming for, and I calmed a bit. But then it turned, I think the guy with the dread, the one with us, was the more intoxicated person. I forgot a story. Before that, apparently the guy by the door was the last victim before us, so that was why he was just mute there. So after they controlled me from screaming, they actually opened the door and shoved him out. So we continued the almighty journey. So coming back, the guy with the dreads was more intoxicated, so he became nasty. He started reaching out for my friend, trying to peck her ears and go all, trying to reach out to her and then smoosh her. It was ewy. And then for her, he was doing it more, I know it's not the right word to use, but he was doing it more romantically, according to what he said, because she cooperated. And for me, he was doing more of the aggressive, maybe it's the BDSM. It was more of the aggressive kind of approach for me, because he said I was stubborn. So he kept saying, so is you down to stop? So he used his nails, to his claws to just reach out. At that time, he left a lot of mark on our body, mine and my friends as well. So he reached out here and was, trying to strangle me. And then he started trying to put his hand, on my here. And as for the Fulani strong girl that I am, I was holding on to here like this. In my mind, I was like, where do you want to take this? But then I couldn't do that. So all I could do was like, please, don't do this. That time, that was when the real panic came in. I was scared, like, someone that is intoxicated can do anything. So I hope, an idea doesn't come to their head to let's hurt these girls, let's, take advantage of them. So I started praying. I didn't even know the right prayer to do, so I just picked one for protection and kept repeating it. And he started mentioning something like, so you're the stubborn one, right? We'll call Alhaji. Would call Alhaji and would cut off your breast and sell it off to him, and we'll use it for ritual. This guy started creeping me out, because definitely I heard the driver talking about Alhaji, and I think with that I figured out that these people have sponsors. They have people who sponsor them to do things like this, maybe with the weapons that they all have. So at the end of the day, the driver came. We were with them for about 35 to 40 minutes. It was the most horrible experience for me, guys. At that time, it was horrible, but at that time, honestly, it wasn't funny. But for now, I can say it and joke about it and laugh about it, because at least we got out alive. So that's something to celebrate. So after he came back, he gave us back our bags. Before then they asked us, where do you live? So we told them where we're headed, and then they left just a particular cab fare money that would take us back home, and then they just took us to one lonely road and just pushed us off, like, go. So when we dropped, we met this woman. She was a young lady, actually. So we're like, please, we're still shaking, so we're like, please, where are we? She just looked at us weirdly, like, look at these people. I think she thought we were like 419 people, like we were like fraudsters. So she ignored us, and in my head I'm like, well, I would ignore myself too if I were in your shoes, because we looked crazy. So we sighted a Meshai, so we approached him and told him what happened to us, and we're asking, please, can he just take us to a particular junction where we could get a car? He sympathized with us and said things like that happened around, it's so sad and all, but what can he do? So he just took us to where we could get a cab, and then we got that the same bus that we actually did not want to get on was the last resort. That was what we got on, because at the end of the day we realized that we couldn't face another experience like that again. So we went on a bus, and then we came back home. So it was, for me, it was honestly, it was traumatic. I think it messed up with ours for life, because I can't stay out late like I used to. I get frightened. If I should get carried away with work and then I get late, I have to call someone to come pick me because I get scared. And so for the first 2 weeks was the most depressing moment for us. It wasn't about what we lost, it was just a psychological thing. It messed up with our head, honestly. There was no therapy for us. We didn't have the money for therapy. Anyways, so what really helped was mom. For me, my friend had to leave the next day. You know, she wanted to be close to her family as well, so she went home. And then for me, it was my mom. Every day she would come, every day she would make me crying. It was just a traumatic experience, honestly, but I'm glad I could laugh over it. But at the end of the day, I learned some things from that night. Number one, don't stay out late if you don't have a personal car that would take you back home safely. Number two, always keep your ATM cards, at home. You should just carry one, and that one should be where you keep your spending money in. The bank should be where you keep your spending money. That would be much safer for you. And then if there is a larger amount, then leave the ATM at home or something. So guys, that's the end of the story for today. I hope you were really entertained, you were educated, and then you were truly informed with the story. So I would say thank you so much for watching. Thank you for sticking around. If you're new, like I said, click on the subscribe button. Amazing things are coming more. Click on the bell icon, press the all. That way you get all the alerts on every of my upload. And also like this video, comment, share, and follow me on my social media page so that we could get to talk more. Okay, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for coming back. I would say until next time, it is that girl signing out. Bye bye.